Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me today on Deep Waters with Deborah Waters, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. It's a Friday episode again on the show. I am super excited to have you join me again as we have quality conversations. This is Deep Waters with Deborah Waters. I am Deborah Waters and you're welcome on board. You're tuned into Rhythm 93.7 FM and Silverbed TV. Yes, of course, you can also watch us on YouTube by searching for Silverbed N24. You click on the live button to watch the show live. This is the number one talk show on radio and TV where we get to go into the deep waters. Trust me, we talk about real life issues, deep issues, gray areas, emotional issues, psychological issues, issues that have to do with life and living our best life. Basically, today is no exception. Today we're talking about oversharing. Oversharing. What does oversharing mean? When does sharing become oversharing? I mean, when we're talking about sharing, we're not talking about sharing biscuits or just sharing tangible things or things that can be exchanged. We're talking about information. Oversharing is when you say more than you should. It's when you give an information too much detail. You've said something you're not supposed to say. You've given too much details about something, and when you reveal too much information about yourself or about a situation, mostly about yourself actually, and we're bound to overshare once in a while because as human beings we seek to be heard, we seek to be seen, we want to be known, and in terms of doing this we have to open our mouth and talk about ourselves if we want to be seen and heard and known and all of that. But in the process of all that, we can talk too much. Have you ever felt, that tinge of regret when maybe you just met somebody and then you guys are talking about talking, and then you went to say something that you feel like, that is too much information that I've put out there. Or maybe you meet someone new or somebody that looks a bit more intimidating, and then because you just want to feel among, you just start to talk. Maybe it's the nerves, maybe it's anxiety, but you just start to talk when you did not plan to. I also feel a type of way like that. Sometimes I feel like, girl, I think you've talked too much. And it happens to me a lot, even with people that I know that in your mind that you cannot even trust these people. You know that this person, I can't trust them fully. So if you cannot trust them fully, you can't trust them. Why are you giving them too much information? Why are you revealing personal and classic information about yourself? Well, it's a human thing. Once in a while we are bound to expose some things that we're not meant to expose. But apart from that, when does it become a problem? Sharing is not even the problem. The problem is now oversharing. Have you been in a situation where you've said things you cannot change, or you've put out there information out there you're not supposed to put out there, or you find yourself just regretting that I told this person that I barely know about me? Usually people overshare also when they go on dates. You go on a first date and you're trying to impress someone, and then they ask you one question and you reply with 5 answers. They ask you 10 questions, you reply with 100 answers. You start to talk about all your history. You start to talk about all the 15 people you've dated. You start to mention about your body count. You start to overshare, basically revealing too much information about yourself. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. If you've had personal experiences where you get to overshare, or where you have overshared, with someone or with a situation, how did it turn out for you? How did that make you feel? I'd love to hear your thoughts on Deep Waters with Deborah Waters. So please do well calling on 0705 993 7937. 0705 993 7937. These days, oversharing on social media has become is a different ball game on its own. I feel like, apart from oversharing with personally and with friends and families and stuff, people now come on social media to overshare. Basically, some people will come and just rant about things, and you're like, why is this person revealing this so much information about themselves or about the situation? You will be they'll start to they call it content. They reveal so much information in the name of content. I feel like some people on social media get to when they put out an information out there and they're not getting like the desired response in terms of content, they want it to catch fire. It's not catching fire, so they decide to overshare. Let's say you share and the sharing that you shared is not catching fire, so you tend to overshare so that what the situation that you want to create will really happen. What do you think about oversharing on social media or even sharing on social media? Look around you today. People are saying more than they should. People are revealing more than they should. People are just, some people will even just be doing live videos in their houses. There's just too much information out there. I want to know what your thoughts are on this topic. Please do also calling on 0705 993 7937. 0705 993 7937. I feel like I tend to call these numbers. I want to say overshare. This one is not overshare. I tend to overcall the numbers, maybe too fast. So I have to call it slowly so that you guys can actually hear it. 0705 993 7937. And there's a difference between actually talking and now sharing. Guys, someone can be talking, and they are passing no information. They're just going around in circles, saying ABC, and somebody can say 1, 2, 3 lines and pass vital information. Anyways, without further ado, let's take our first caller on the show. Hello. Okay, I lost that. Let's take another call. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for calling. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is
Please turn off your radio. Please turn off your radio or just take a walk away from it.
Fine. Okay.
Are you going to turn it off? Because I might not be able to take your call if it's echoing like that.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, that's a lot better. Thank you so much. I am Deborah Waters on Deep Waters. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm Gucci. My name is Victor.
Victor.
I call from my papa. Yeah.
Okay, Victor from Apapa. So good to have you join me today on Deep Waters.
Thank you very much. Over what you said, I'm listening to what you said.
Yes.
For that sharing information, like you said.
Yes.
Not that someone is like sharing information. It's just that when you're trying to enlighten someone on what he or she doesn't know, you understand?
Yes.
For me, I don't think it's a lot of information. Just to teach that person just a little. You get?
Mm-hmm.
So what you saying? Someone is giving partner too much information. I don't think it's too much information because I just call you because that's my kind of person. So you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like sharing information. So even though I trust you, I don't trust you, but all I know that I will just know what I say and what I don't say.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that I will share information with anybody I want to share information with. So that is it.
Interesting. So you don't believe that oversharing is possible in a relationship? Do you feel like in a relationship you can talk too much or you can pass too much information in a very short time? You don't think so?
Yeah, I think so, but the one that I do, I'll do the one that is more best to know, more best for me, as in not that I will share over.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I hear you carefully, you're okay with sharing, but not oversharing.
Not oversharing. So.
All right. Thank you so much for calling and sharing. All right. I feel like caller, I feel like you kind of contradicted yourself a bit there. I'm not sure. I thank God I wasn't the only one listening to the conversation. So you're calling and you say, okay, oversharing, there's really nothing like that, or how did you put it? You're like, oh, it's this, you say I can release as much information or as much information as I want to release and all that. Then you now go back to say that, oh, if it's the one that I want to release that I will release, and it's the one I don't want to release that I will not release. So in other words, you are actually conscious of oversharing if you are conscious of what you want to put out there and what you don't want to put out there, because sharing is just knowing your boundaries. Oversharing is now saying I'm just want to give like some information. Like for example, you just meet someone, or for example, you just met a guy and you guys are on a date, and then maybe you are you're a single mother, and then you put on a date with this guy, maybe a potential husband material, and then you start the date by saying, oh, I already have a kid. Now some people will say, okay, you're supposed to put it out there from the start. But personally, I feel that could be oversharing because you don't even know this guy. You just know he's a potential. You don't know whether he wants you as a wife, and you're putting it out there that you're a single mother, you have a kid, you have a this. I know you guys are going to come for me for that, but if you have contrasting thoughts, let me hear your thoughts. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Olawale. Good to have you on the show.
Hey, good evening.
Good
Runaway
e-
soldier, you don't want to take my call.
Welcome, runaway civilian.
Hey, that your guest that supposed to pack all guys to go and drop them if you don't do. Well done. Well done
So you
for you.
listened that day.
That day I call that's why ladies are just calling you, you are picking their call. You are okay now. You are 100% okay. That's it.
Oh,
Okay. Even though that your medical the guy the other one that came on Wednesday. You give me the handle of that woman because you don't even talk something about stroke or something like that. I want to ask some certain questions. Yeah. Hello?
hello.
Hello, I just want to ask her some certain questions.
Okay.
The one
Oh,
that you answered on Wednesday.
okay. When she comes back again now, how can you just call in to come and comment on a show that was 2 days ago? I mean, 2 shows ago.
Uh,
Anyways, thank you
okay,
so much for calling, Olawale. I appreciate.
yeah, no problem.
Can you just imagine that? Olawale just called to comment on a topic that was it shows how deep our topics can be. If you can make say I'll call him to comment on that topic that you did on Monday because I was not okay with what the guest said and all that. But next time, please call on that when it's in the hot you call, not when the fire don't cool finish. Anyway, this is Deep Waters with Deborah Waters, and I would have loved to actually get Olawale's thoughts on today's topic, but maybe he's just joining in, and I hope that you will call back to hear your thoughts on oversharing. Is it possible? Let's put it this way: is it possible for couples, people in a relationship, to overshare? Because some people feel like because you are dating, you're in a safe environment, I should know everything about you and you should know everything about me. Is it okay? Is it true that if you're in a relationship with someone, you should overshare? I really don't know. I want to hear your thoughts. This is Deep Waters with Deborah Waters. Let's quickly go on a very short break. When we get back, more conversations on the topic oversharing. I really want to hear your thoughts on that. What is oversharing? When does sharing become oversharing? To overshare means to share or reveal too much information about one's self. What is allowed, for example, on a first date or not? If you're a single mother on the first day or a single father, would you put it out there on the first date? Would that be oversharing or not? This is Deep Waters with Deborah Waters. It's time to get this course coming in. Today we're talking about oversharing, revealing too much information about oneself. When does sharing become oversharing? You can't be on this planet Earth without revealing some form of information about yourself, without talking, because we all want to be seen, we all want to be heard, we all want to be known, and you can only do that by talking, by revealing information, by being around people. But sometimes you can cross the line by oversharing, by revealing too much information about oneself. Before I went on that break, I said, is it possible to overshare in a relationship? Is it possible to reveal too much about oneself in a relationship? Have you not been in a relationship or situationship before, or even friendship, where you're like, you guys know so much about yourself over familiarity setting, and then when you guys fight, then those information that you guys know about yourself, you start using it against each other. Could that be some negative effect of oversharing there? I want to know your thoughts on Deep Waters with Deborah Waters. Calling on 0705 993 7 or 0705 993 6. Oversharing on social media is also a thing that has become more like a pandemic these days. You go online and people are revealing too much information. You're like, is this not too much? Is this not too much? Is this not too much? I want to hear your thoughts on the topic. Is oversharing bad? Is it bad to overshare? Is it even bad to share at all? Because sometimes sharing, constant sharing might lead to oversharing. The question is, who are you even sharing with? So sometimes it can look like you trust this person to share with them, and then you now realize later that they're not trustworthy, and you have probably overshared. Why do people overshare? For me, why the times where I've overshared, I think I've been in a situation where maybe I was in school, then I didn't have many friends, or I wasn't friends with my roommates per se. So anytime time I step out and I meet people in class, I want to just give them all the gist and all the download that is happening in my life, because the person I'm supposed to be sharing with, which is my roommate, is not so friendly. So I think I found myself oversharing in situations like that. So it could be maybe when you're alone or lonely, it could be anxiety, it could be fear, it could be low self-esteem. Why do people really overshare? Are you an oversharer? Have you found pinched yourself once or twice and realized that, wow, I just met this person and I think I've told them too much? How did that make you feel? Did that make you feel empowered or vulnerable? Calling today on 0705 993 6937 or 0705 993 7937. I also gave an example of going on the first date as a single mother and single father. And while some people, when you go on the first date, they will expect that you put all the cards on the table. They'll tell you, oh, if you're a single mother, a single father, tell me. And some people feel that putting that out on the first date is too much information. It's oversharing, because you don't even know if this person will even make it to the second date. You don't know if they will ever even make it to the third date, but you putting that out already has already even might actually encourage or discourage the situations. More likely than but than not, it usually discourages a further date or a second date and stuff. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think that a single mother or single father, or if you have some information that are not very palatable about yourself, and you're putting it out on a first date, could that be some form of oversharing? And why do people overshare even with people that they don't even feel safe with? Sometimes that you cannot trust this person, but you go ahead and share information because maybe it makes you feel good, or maybe because you want to feel among, maybe you just want to feel like you are in the same clique as them, so you want to talk. I want to hear your thoughts today on Deep Waters with Family. Some people have even made family and friends therapists. When they just meet their friends like this, they start to download everything. Should I do this, or should I not do this? You make your family and friends a therapist, literally, to you. You overshare with new people, overshare with people you can't trust. You're constantly promising yourself and telling yourself that, oh, I'll make sure that this time I won't talk too much, or I'll make sure this time I'm not sharing too much information. But you find yourself doing it when it comes to that situation again. If this sounds like you, please calling. Let's learn from you. Let's know what we are doing right or wrong. Hello. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Olawale. How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good. Welcome back. You are just calling for today now. That call you made now was for Monday. Now welcome back on the show.
I know it's not with money. I know it's why not? Because I just go to that situation. Overshare.
Oh, I'm struggling to hear you, but go ahead. Hello. Olale, I'm really struggling to hear you. Okay, we have to lose that call because I was really, really struggling. I couldn't hear anything. And I know that Olawale would have interesting thoughts about this. I would really, so I was watching a clip online the other day, and somebody was saying that, why would a woman tell everything about herself to a man, or why would they reveal so much information? That there are some things that you're not supposed to tell your spouse. There are some things that you're not supposed to tell your husband. There are some things that you're not supposed to tell your wife. It's too much information. It's oversharing. I want to hear your thoughts on that. I know that African men will have special thoughts on it. Be like, I want my wife to tell me everything. I want to know everything about you. But knowing everything about them, does it create a bond? Does it seal the bond, or does it seal the bond? It looks like it's sealing the bond until you guys fight, and then you realize that you can pull out that information and use it anytime, to the person's disadvantage. That's really, really deep. How do you feel about oversharing? How do you know when you are oversharing? I feel like for me, how do I even know when I'm oversharing? I feel like for me, when I've spoken too much, it was when the person has gone, when I'm now alone by myself. I'll not be like, did I say this, and I said this too, and I said this, and I'll not be feeling bad or feeling the type of way, I'll be saying like, oh, how does the person see me? I hope they don't see me in a certain way. How do they see me now? I start to think about all that. And I'm sure I'm not the only one in this, because if I'm the only one, that would be really, really weird. So I start to feel like, oh, how do they see me now? You start to have so much doubt, you start to overthink, and then you not ask yourself, why did I even overshare at this point? Why did, because maybe I could have shushed my mouth, I could have used pin to shook my mouth, and all that. But the thing is, sometimes the people around us also have a way of getting this information from us, and sometimes you also really want to share, because at the end of the day, you are not a table or a chair, you're not firewood. You're actually human, and human beings take information and give information. So yeah, let's talk today on Deep Waters with Deborah Waters. I know this topic is such a abstract topic, but it's very important for us. It's very important for us to have this conversation. Oversharing. When does oversharing become oversharing? Please share your thoughts today on Deep. Don't overshare, but share your thoughts by calling in on 0705 993 6937 or 0705 993 7937. This is about the time where I'm supposed to bring in my guest, but I feel like my guest is held in traffic or something. So I hopefully she gets in here before the time runs out. But if she doesn't, I'm here to take all of your calls. I'm here to hear your opinion and your thoughts. Do you think that it's possible to overshare in relationships and marriage? Can you be giving out too much information to a partner, even when you trust them? What are the advantages and disadvantages of, giving out too much information? Does it seal a bond, or does it, create a break? Because sometimes it looks like there's a bond until there is problem. Is oversharing good or bad? I would also like to add that there are times where oversharing can be used as a tool, because I've realized that sometimes when I give an information or too much information about myself. Let's say I have a friend that we're just office friends and we don't know about our personal lives, and then I go ahead, or maybe we're talking one time, then I go ahead to tell the friend that, oh, I mean to have gone through this, and I've gone through that, and I didn't feel really good about this. And then I say something personal, something that makes me really vulnerable to them. For some reason, it kind of encourages them to give them one information or two about themselves, because I've used it before, using the oversharing as a tool. So you give an information about yourself, you share genuinely because you feel like maybe your information or your story could help the other person, and then after doing that, the other person just feels like they can relate with you, they feel like they are there with you, they feel like they can connect with you. And so they're also obliged, so maybe not obliged, but they feel safe enough to open up to you and share particular information about themselves, about their lives, to you. And that kind of like is like a tool for, it encourages vulnerability and bonding. I think that might just be the advantage of oversharing. But again, it's when you're actually consciously using it as a tool. When you are not, and sometimes you can mistakenly overshare and it still works in that situation. But times where you're not oversharing, you're not mistakenly doing it, you're not using it as a tool, you're just oversharing. That is dangerous, especially to somebody who is not a friend, or somebody who is not trusted. And even when they are trusted, the information you're supposed to put out there also has to be, something you're comfortable putting out there, because you don't want to put it out there and then later one thing will lead to one thing. Anyways, I don't want to feel like I'm giving out too much information or oversharing, but I'd love for us to share. So please do well to join me on the show today by calling in on 0705 993 7937 or 0705 993 6937. One thing I also love to talk about is situations where I don't know if being an introvert or an extrovert also affects your oversharing tendencies. Some people are introverts, and the only way they overshare, the only way they share is through writing. They write a lot, they scribble, they draw. Why some people, the only way they overshare is, or they share, is by talking. So if you're an introvert or an extrovert, please help us understand how that affects your sharing tendencies. Hello. Hi, good evening. Thanks for calling. Please turn off your radio. Okay, good to have you on the show. My name is Deborah of Deep Waters. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Doyin. I'm calling from Surulere.
Doyin from Surulere. What's up? How are you?
I'm okay. I'm doing well.
Good to have you on the show. Talk to me.
I feel like oversharing is not good, especially in a relationship. Because that happened to me before.
Okay.
Because I'm married and I have 2 kids. So there is no how. Anytime I have issues with my husband, he's always telling his mom everything.
Wow.
Even when maybe I deny him of intimacy or something,
Wow.
he's always telling his mom. So they do use it against me. And I
Wow.
do feel bad.
Hmm.
So sometimes I'll be like, why am I even telling this man? It's better for me to even keep it to myself instead of telling him.
Wow.
You are supposed to be like, you are supposed to keep my secret.
Yeah, you're
But at the end of
confident.
the day,
Hmm.
yes, and at the end of the day, you still go and tell your parents, this about this girl, this about her. In fact, she does not even let me touch her and all that. So they use it against me, and I do feel bad. So since then, I've already said that I will never share anything with him, never. So
Wow.
today, even if I am feeling pain, I will still keep
Wow.
it within me.
But
So I just feel like too much in a relationship is not good.
so but you're human after all. I hear you loud and clear. Loud and clear. Putting out that information to your husband might be dangerous. But have you spoken to him about it that you're not comfortable? With him sharing your personal information with your mother-in-law?
Yes, I've told him so many times. But if you still have issues, you still go and tell his mom.
Wow.
That this is what is going on in my relationship. So everything we discuss about, you will still go to his mom to go and tell his mom.
Wow, that is so bad. And so how do you share? Who do you share with? So you just bottle everything up inside or what?
Yes, inside of me. The
Ah,
pain I feel, everything I feel, I let it be inside of me. I eat my pain myself.
oh dear. Now that's really heartbreaking.
So I
So,
don't even have any confidence to share anything
oh
with.
my
So
God.
whether I'm feeling bad or maybe I'm feeling good or anything, I just know it's in between myself.
That is really bad. And you don't even have friends, even friends too. You can't these days. You can't even trust friends, Seth. You don't even have that one friend that you can even share some information with.
I have a friend, but at the moment she's very sick, so I just feel like let me just sing back. So I don't want to bother her a lot. Even sometimes if I even chat with my friend, you still go and check my chat with my friend and read my chat, and you still have it in mind. And so this is what you are discussing with your friend and all that.
Yes.
Even if I want to call my sis, because I want to explain to my sister that this is what I'm going through. You still check my chat.
Wow, that's some intrusion of privacy there. But anyways, thank you so much for sharing, and I hope you don't bottle those info. You don't bottle too much inside. Sometimes you can write about how you feel. You can also talk to yourself, like maybe look into the mirror and talk to yourself, overshare with yourself, basically. Because you are human and you have to release. You have to release. You have to talk at some point. You have to, put information out there, but it doesn't probably have to be out there to another human being.
Okay.
Thank you so much for calling and sharing. I appreciate.
You're welcome.
Okay, that's there like a real life story right there. I feel like I can relate with her story because for some reason, even my mom, when she, I know this is a family issue. This is even a bit of oversharing here, but I would do that because I'm also asking you guys to share, so I should be able to share a part of me with you guys. I feel like this, I can relate with this completely because sometimes I feel like when my parents, have conversations with themselves, my dad finds a way, or my mom, both of them are oversharers. They find a way to go and escalate to somebody else, and that person will now say it to them, and then it will now backfire and all that. I don't know why it happens like that in marriages. Why is it like that where you guys cannot be confident with each other? The question is, even if people are saying marriage, is your partner your confidant? Is your partner your confidant? And I hear you loud and clear. Last caller says, "Oh, me for me, I won't overshare. Oh, I share some things, but I don't overshare because this information will carry itself, out there to my mother-in-law, and they will use it against me later." So when you know that information oversharing will put you in trouble, it's better not to do that. But now in a situation, sometimes not sharing at all can mess with you, can mess with your mental health. It's just that things are happening to you. You're experiencing pain. You're experiencing sadness, happiness. Sometimes you're happy, you want to share the joy with someone, but you feel like if you share it with this person, the person would, turn it around and it becomes something else, or the person will start to envy or jealous you, or the person will go and say it to some other people, so sometimes you want to share your happiness, you want to share your sadness, you want to share it with somebody, and it's very important that we all have somebody that we can share, maybe not everything, maybe not overshare, but a reasonable amount of information with that, we know that they are with us, we are bonded with them and all. But in situations where you don't have friends that you can share with, or even your confidant or husband or wife whom you really want to share with but cannot share it, our advice maybe, if you can you write out your feelings, or you can talk to yourself, you can share with yourself in the mirror, or you can get a pet, and talk to the pets, and about how you're feeling, about your joys, because if you cannot trust anyone, why overshare when those information can be used against you at the end of the day? Let's take another caller. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good to have you on the show. My name is Deborah on Deep Waters. What's your name? Ikena.
My name is Ikenna.
Thank
I
God.
get you today.
Thank God. No, you didn't get me. I said, what's your name, Ikena? Don't even get. Did not yet.
Okay.
Welcome,
Yeah. Thank you.
Mr. Gets. Always trying to get me. Good to have you on the show.
Anyways, yeah. You see, I didn't join the show at the beginning. It just midway, but I think I can pick a little of what you're talking about and
Okay.
also make a contribution.
Thank you.
Now, the thing is in life you have different people that are close to you in different ways. Now, there is somebody that is only some aspect of your life that both of you are close. Now, some other person fits into another aspect. So the person that fits into a particular aspect, you share what happens around that aspect with the person. There can be a person, a friend of yours, that both of you, maybe you are close on play kind of things. It's play gist that the person will hear. Do you understand?
Yes.
And there's someone you know also that, well, to a large extent, this guy or this lady is your friend, but you know that there's some aspects of you that might not sit well, or you might not want him to know. There might be someone that it might be somebody that is pretty close to you on some angle, but you think that if he or she gets to know about some things about progress or the kind of headways you're making in some things, it might not sit so well with him, because maybe the person doesn't know how to handle
it,
or
yes,
jealousy and all of that.
Or they'll go and tell somebody else.
Beautiful. So for such people, you keep them and give them the information that they will get on the angle where both of you are close. Both of you are pretty close. So it's often difficult to have one person that ticks all your confidential boxes.
Yes.
And you tell everything. Now, coming to marriage, some things are sleeping dogs that should be left to lie where they are.
How do you mean by that?
Because let the sleeping dogs lie now. Allow those sleeping dogs. Some of them. You can know your husband or your wife, or you know the business temperament, or you know how the person fits into his own family, and some information you might not have to now give him or her, because you know that if it sits into, or he can gist with his siblings, and his siblings might not understand the way he has understood with you. Then, one thing will lead into the other, and they might start speaking to him or give him ideas and all of that, which ab initio he or she never had. So you should smartly know what information to share and what to share.
Interesting.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, for instance, I know what to tell my wife and when to tell her. My wife doesn't have so much, how will I call it now? She can't deal with difficult news or difficult situations.
Or bad news.
So when some things are happening, I don't tell her. That was something I was going through, and I didn't let her know until about 2 years after, when I had sorted that, and I said, okay, now do you remember at so time that I'll still come back home?
Wow.
I'm still smiling and being a normal guy. That's so and so what's happening. I was like, should have told me. If I tell you, you panic. I don't need panic at that time. Do you understand?
Interesting.
I don't need panic. Let me be the only one carrying the drama. So your partner can be calm or should be your confidence, but it's not anything you come back. Oh, do you know this happened? Or do you know that happened? Or do you know I'm going through this? Or do you know that I almost got fired? Man, I mean, so you weigh things, you gauge who should have some information and who should have some information, and at when the person should have the information.
Interesting.
That's my take to it.
So in a situation where somebody is poking you literally, and what about this? What about this? And you've been trying to dodge, but they keep poking for information. What do you do then?
It depends on who the person is and how much you feel you owe the person the information. The person.
Well, if they have to poke,
goes overboard. If the person goes overboard, I'm not telling you, I can beg. If you go first, it's a business. I'm telling you, I'll tell you later. Yes.
It's easy to say, Kenda. It's easy to say. Some friends, you don't want them to feel like you're hiding something from them, but you also don't want to give them the information yet or at all.
Good. So what you can do is, in life, you choose what you tell people and they choose the ones to believe. So you can decide to tell the person whatever. You can tell some half-truths. Yes. So at least let you know if you don't want to offend the person by, being brash and telling the person, you can dance around the story and tell some half-truths. Then the person, if maybe tomorrow the real information comes out, oh, sorry, I didn't, at that time I was very confused. Say whatever you want to say, man. The real information is out, so there's nothing to hide anymore.
Yes.
So you now know what the truth is. And if you lied to me that time, I didn't tell you a lie, or I can tell you that time that look, I wasn't ready to tell you yet. So you were poking me, and I didn't have the full information. I needed to tell you something, not for you to get off my back. I just say, sorry, my be it's closed. Everybody moves on.
Interesting. Ikena, thank you so much for sharing. That makes a lot of sense.
My pleasure.
All right. Ikena, always sharing, but not oversharing. So good to have you. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on the topic. Today we're talking about oversharing, revealing too much information about oneself. When does sharing become oversharing? Is it possible to overshare in friendships, in relationships, in marriages? And that's what we've been talking about so far. And I kind of like Ikena's thoughts on the topic and how he even ended is about, okay, in situation, because sometimes we have friends that really want to get as much information, but you don't want to talk, you don't want to overshare because you feel like if you share, you're going to be oversharing. So you don't want to share that information. So in that situation, Ikena says to, have a have an information salad, basically, have some truths and some lies mixed together and then you dish it out. I'm not asking, it's not me that asked you to lie, is it Kena that said so? This is Deep Waters with Deborah Waters, and so far I think we've been able to expose some of the damages or dangers that can come from oversharing. From our last caller, or from our last two callers, she said, if sharing too much information about oneself can make them actually use those information against you, especially if you're sharing it to somebody who don't know how to keep a secret or guard their thoughts, or who can't even empathize or sympathize with what you're going through. That thing can backfire. Also, oversharing can also probably lead to panic. When you're giving too much information that the person is not ready to receive, they can start to have panic attack. And so sometimes not oversharing can help can help, guard against that. But again, oversharing, like I said, also can also be a tool to actually encourage bonding, encourage friendship, and encourage another person to, share themselves and give some part of themselves to you. It creates that bond, that friendship and all that. But I think sharing is okay, but oversharing can encourage somebody who has been rigid, who has tightened up, to actually, say, okay, if this person can actually reveal this thing about themselves to me, maybe I'm also safe enough to reveal this information. I think I watched a movie one time where they were playing, was it truth or dare? You reveal one information, I'll reveal another information. When they were playing this game, they were like, oh, truth, let's say one truth about ourselves. The first person claimed that he was saying the truth, so she said the truth. The other lady also said her own truth. So when the other lady heard the second lady's truth, she now said, oh, this is your truth, right? And I say, wow, thank you for sharing that, because she needed that information to use it against her. Apparently her own truth was not a truth, was a lie. So you have to know who you're sharing with, basically. So they both claimed that they were sharing the truth, but the other person was not being honest. So she was probably, she wanted that person's truth so that she can use it against them. And she used that information to get some deal. It's a movie, and I'm sure these things happen in real life. So yeah, as you share, you watch what you're sharing, watch what you're putting out there, who you're sharing to or with, most importantly. Because sometimes people say, oh, they're my friend now, and they're my confidant now, and they're my husband now. You've heard it from Ikenna, a married man himself. Sometimes in your married situation, there are some things that you have to, let the sleeping dogs lie, like they say. And people overshare. It's something that usually would come, and as you share, but you can actually, stop the urge, you can control yourself, or you can just literally mitigate against it. This is Deep Waters with Deborah Waters. We're talking about oversharing, and I would love to hear your thoughts. I have a few minutes to wrap up the show, so if you have some thoughts and opinions and questions, I'm supposed to have my special guest with me here, but I mean, I can try and answer some of your questions if you have one, so please do well to calling on 0705 993 6937 or 0705 993 7937, 0705 993 6937 or 0705 993 7937. I also wanted to hear our thoughts on this oversharing on social media. I mean, we can't end this show without talking about oversharing on social media and how that has become a pandemic in these days, this time and age. You go on social media and you are seeing people revealing things they're not supposed to, and you're like, oh, back in the day, why are people saying things like this about themselves? Some people will create these things in the name of content. They'll say, oh, it's content. We hear you, it's content, but when does this content come back to hurt you? When does it backfire? When does it boomerang? And you know this thing they say about the internet really never forgets. And indeed, the internet really, really never forgets. So as we go on our daily lives on social media, trying to, share our latest happenings and, putting things out there to, keep up with the Joneses, we are humans after all. We have to put things out there. But what are we putting out there? How much information? Some people's relationship are literally on social media. They literally know where you people are living. They know where you are sleeping. They know you're out. They know when you are out. They know where you went last. They know everything. And I hear you. You're creating content. Social media might feed some of you, but sometimes I think that we need to find it. I don't even know how we want to mitigate and find the boundary between creating content for social media and actually guarding your personal space, guarding your mental health. This information, they are very sweet when you are releasing this information, until it backfires. Then these people start to use that information against you. You start to affect your mental health, start to affect your well-being. Start to make you sick, basically, because there are just too much information about you, and you'll be asking, how did he get out there? Did he fly out there? Did he generate two legs and fly? Is it not you that shared it with them? Some people say, oh, you people have no business in my relationship and my work. But once you put it on social media, you have invited the general public to come and be a part of your business. They should mind their business, but you are not even, you're not minding your own business. you're putting out your business out, and then everybody is trying to now comment on that business, and then it's a problem. Social media is one place that we literally overshare these days, from several kinds of information, personal information, occupational information, and so on and so forth. And I'm sure that if you want to even learn more about oversharing, you simply have to go online. You see 1,000 stories and articles on how to know that you are oversharing, the signs and symptoms of oversharing. For me, I already told you that oversharing feels like once you do it, you start to feel that pinch. There's a pinch or a regret that just comes in your mind. I'll be like, I think I don't over talk, or I've overshared. Or sometimes you overshare, you think you're sharing, but not knowing that to the person, it's actually oversharing, because they're not ready to receive that information, and they're using it for whatever they want to use it for. They're not using it to your advantage. They're probably using it to your disadvantage. So this thing actually have to do with emotional intelligence. At the end of the day, you actually have to know, just like Ikena says, you have to know which friend to release which information to. You have work friends, you have family friends, you have fashion friends, you have shop friends. Don't try to make the person that you go out to drink casually with, so don't come and tell them to you turn them to your best friend, because when you start to release best friend information, they will not be able to contain it, and they will probably start using it uselessly. So we need to also be able to diversify. Sometimes some of us are not always lucky to have a confidant as a partner. Some of us, we just have a partner, you don't have a confidant. So when you realize that this partner is not really a confidant, they cannot keep your information, or they're sharing your information, sharing has become oversharing, you have to know when to cut it down. Just like our lady said, you have to know when to protect yourself, protect your mental health, know when to release this information and when not to. And if you feel the urgent need to release information or talk to someone, talk to God. If you believe in God, if you feel the need to talk to anything, you feel like you look around you, you look left, right, center, you look at your family, there's nobody to talk to God. Or if you don't believe in God, get a pet and talk to your pet. You don't believe in pets, get a pen and write your share on your paper. There's so many things and tips that we can do to actually keep us from oversharing. This has been an amazing show with you guys on Deep Waters with Deborah Waters. Unfortunately, my guest, I really hoped that I was praying that she could make it, but apparently she didn't make it. But as always, I'll be back again on Monday with another exciting episode at 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. and a very interesting topic, for us to actually, talk about. And I hope that you were able. I literally played coach today and host and coach, and I hope I was able to say one or two things that kept you going, and you have to make you see ways in which you can actually stay away from oversharing. Share, but don't overshare. It's important to share. You're human after all, but do not overshare. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again on Monday. Have a great Friday. See you next time. Bye bye.